Well, it's Sri Lanka versus Netherlands in less than an hour. But how good was that comprehensive win of Sri Lanka against the UAE, that comprehensive 79-run win against the UAE on Tuesday? Now, today we have someone very, very special joining me in discussion. Of course, Akib is joining us live from the grounds, but we have someone very special to the Knockout family joining me in discussion today. You might know him as Harun Maujud, but to us, he's our lucky charm. Welcome and good morning, Harun.
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for that very nice introduction. Very good morning to you too. Nice to
Most
be back.
welcome. And of course, alongside myself is Akil Masoon
Hi,
as well.
hi, Rebecca.
And as promised, Akib will most certainly be joining us from the grounds. So, Harun, now, of course, we managed to win without you on Tuesday, but what are your
Thank
thoughts?
God. I'm very, very happy for that, to be very honest. But I think talking in more serious terms, a very crucial win, and the fact that we won with such a margin was very important. We know how important today's game is. We prayed to God that there is no rain that comes and interrupts the affairs today. So we'll need a win for sure to qualify to the group stages. And looking at how we played, if we have that same intensity, yes, there are a few patches that we have to kind of plaster and survive with all the injuries, and especially from a batting point of view, we're not been clicking, barring for one or two batsmen. So those areas will have to be plastered when we come into this game, so that we put up another convincing performance.
Right. So, Harun, we're seeing some changes in the squad going forward, and possibly even just temporarily today. Let's talk about moving out a few of the players out of the squad permanently today. How damaging do you think that could be to the Sri Lanka squad, at least Sri Lanka's performance?
No, I think it's a hefty blow, especially considering Dushmantha Chamira's exit untimely. Coming in after injury, I thought he bowled fantastically well against UAE. He got the right length. Yes, he wasn't 100% in the Namibia game, but the way he bowled during that UAE encounter was quite superb. He had the pace, the right length. They were pretty much clueless in terms of how to face him or play him. Uh, I think a big miss for Sri Lanka. If you look at it, considering the entire squad, Dhanush Gunendra, yes, was not in the best of form. Don't think the team will be impacted too much. But Dushman Chamira, especially in a World Cup tournament where you have a lot of where you will get a lot of crunch games, provided Sri Lanka goes forward, will be a big blow. And yeah, looking at his replacements, I don't think there's anyone you can match currently in the Sri Lankan setup that is of his standard or of his stature.
So my question actually is similar to that of Sajid Nasbi. Thanks so much, Sajid, for joining us. Which is, who will replace Pramod and Shamira, Lahir Kumara and Binura, or Binura and Rajita?
Yeah, I think good question. I think we were discussing this backstage as well. I don't think Rajita is already made it to Australia, so that'll take some time if I'm not mistaken. Lahir Kumar seems to be the best bet, I suppose. The fact that he's been in Australia for the last 2 to 3 weeks, and they've undergone training, he's played the practice matches. So, if you ask me for Chamira, the like-to-like replacement would be Lahir Kumar. For Pramod, I just have two thoughts. Maybe Sri Lanka's batting woes seems to be, not fixed. I understand conditions are different, so whether they would want to go with a batsman in the likes of Ashane Bandar, or whether they would like to play an extra spinner in the likes of Jeffrey Van der Sar. So those are the two options that I feel in place of Pramod that can come into the equation for today's election.
Speaking of Van de Sar, Harun, like we were speaking backstage, what do you think exactly happened there with those two missed catches? And of course, Wanidu saying, you know what, guys, if you can't do it, let me show you how it's done. We saw Van de Sar drop two integral catches during the match. What do you think went wrong there?
Yeah, I'd say one. Maybe the second one was pretty much. I would say it was long off sketch, but Van der Sar was fast enough to actually make that run all the way towards long off. But the first one, yes, I understand. Especially when you're in the bench in these conditions, it's quite cold in Australia, as you know. It's actually the start of the cricket season, so you generally don't get key tournaments being played during this time of the year in Australia. So with the conditions, being seated in the dugout, wearing those 2 to 3 clothing on top of you, and without being warmed up when you come onto the field, realistically when you go there you really understand you're not in it like how the other players have been for the for the amount of overs that they have stayed. So it's not easy. I'm not trying to give an excuse for the player, but then again, you have to feel for him because although it looks straightforward on those conditions, it's not very easy.
අන්තිම
I
තමයි
mean, we
හාරුන්
have.
අපි පිච් එක ගැන කතා කරොත් පිචස් ප්ලේ වෙන විදිය it's like more of dry ගිලි කියන්න පුළුවන් dry and slow ගිලි කියන්නත් පුළුවන් ඒ කියන්නේ කටස්ල බෝල් කරන්න කටස් බෝල් කරන බෝලර්ස්ලට and of course spinners ලට පොඩි advantage එකක් තියෙනවා මේ පාර
ඒක දැන් ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එක පොඩ්ඩක් ඇනලයිස් කරලා බැලුවම අපි දන්නවා ඩයිමෙන්ෂන්ස් පොඩ්ඩක් වෙනස් කියලා. හැබැයි විකට්ස් දැන් normally ක්‍රිකට් ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එකක අකිල් අපි vertically horizontally ගත්තොත් ගොඩක් ක්‍රිකට් පිචර්ස් තියෙනවා. දැන් මේ ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එකේ පිච් දෙකයි තියෙන්නේ. අපි UAE මැච් එක ගහපු පිච් එක ගොඩක් ඩ්‍රයි, තනකොළ වැඩිය තිබ්බේ නෑ. පොඩ්ඩක් කැපුණා. වනින්දර වුණත් බෝලේ කැපුණා. අපි ෆස්ට් මැච් එක ගහපු එක පොඩ්ඩක් ස්ටිකි. two pace නිකන් ටෙනිස් බෝල් බවුන්ස් එකක් වගේ තමයි තිබ්බේ. So it'll be interesting to see අපි මොන පිච් එකේද අද ගහන්නේ. අර අපි දෙවෙනි මැච් එක ගහපු පිච් එක ගොඩක් අපේ බෝලර්ස්ට කන්ඩිසිව් කියලා තමයි මට තේරුනේ මම බලපු විදියට. අර පිච් දෙකක් තියෙන අනිත් අවාසිය තමයි you don't get value for your shots. Normally අපි normal cricket ground එක ගහනකොට අර ස්ක්වයර් එකට ගහද්දි බෝල ඉක්මනට travel වෙනවා. Because you have a very hard surface which is all clay, basically turf. The ball you get a lot of value for your shots. හැබැයි මේ වගේ ground එක ගහද්දි අපි දැකලා තියෙනවා උඩින් ගහන උනත් බෝල ගිහලා හිටිනවා. අර continuous flow එකක් නැහැ. So බැට්ස්මන්ලට මේන්ලි ඒගොල්ලෝ පොඩ්ඩක් ස්මාර්ට්ලි බැට් කරන්න ඕන. අපි දැක්ක පැතුම් කොහොමද බැට් කරපු විදිය. මේ ගැප්ස් ටික අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරන්න ඕන. ඩීප් පොකට්ස් ටිකක් තියෙන මෙතන පෙනිට්‍රේට් කරන්න. සිංගල්ස් ටූල්ස් වලින් තමයි මේන්ලි ගේම් එක ගහන්න ඕනේ. 150 160 ගහන ගැහුවොත් ගේමක් නැතුව අපිට මේක ඩිපෙන්ඩ් කරන්න පුළුවන්.
Hari, Sajid Nazbiahana, what if Sri Lanka makes De Silva float and makes Asalanka play at number 3?
Yeah, very interesting question. I was thinking the same. I thought Asalanka would come in as at number 3. The fact that he was brought into the squad, but they have kind of opted for him to be the floater. Looking at if you compare in terms of who plays spin better, I'd say Asalanka does. So that would have been probably the reason that they brought him down and wanted Dhananjay to bat at number 3. But then again, it's a very tight call. Dhananjay being the senior person, I don't know whether he's been asked where he wants to play, so therefore Asalanka has to make the shift. But then again, yeah, ideally Asalanka should be batting at number 3, maybe Dhananjay at 4, and then Bhanuka at 5, if that is the case.
and also
Api,
yes there we go on
right. So just to update our viewers and whoever who's watching, Akil, Hari, Harun, would you be able to update us about some of the players that are likely being flown in to Australia to kind of assist Dasun, assist the squad rather?
Yes, so I think අපි දන්න විදියට කසුන් රජිත එනවා අසිත ෆර්නෑන්ඩෝ අපේ ඒෂියා කප් එක ගහපු ෆාස්ට් බෝලර්ත් එනවා. ඉතින් ඒ දෙන්න තමයි මම හිතන්නේ අපේ බැක් බෙන්ච් එක ගත්තොත් ඉන්න හොඳම ෆාස්ට් බෝලර් දෙන්න. එතනින් එහාට ඇත්තටම අපි يعني we have මතීෂ පතිරේනේ ඉන්නවා. හැබැයි ඊට පස්සේ ඉන්නේ ඔක්කොම ඒ ටීම් එකේ ඩෙවලොප්මන්ට් ස්ක්වොඩ් එකේ ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා. ඊට ඇරෙන්න අපිට හැම ලොකු ෆාස්ට් බෝලින් යුනිට් එකක් නෑ. ප්‍රිඩොමිනන්ට්ලි ඔක්කොමලා ඔස්ට්‍රේලියා වල ඉන්න හින්දා මේ ටික තමයි අපිට ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන රිසර්ව්ස් ටික. ඉතින් කසුන් රජිත and අසිත ෆර්නෑන්ඩු මේ කන්ඩිෂන්ස් වලත් අර ඒගොල්ලොන්ගේ ලයින් and lens ගත්තොත් ඒගොල්ලෝ normally bowl කරන විදිය ගත්තොත් I think two very good replacements taking into consideration the injury woes that we are faced with.
Okay, okay. Yes,
අනිත් එක
Akib,
තමයි
sorry.
ආරොන් අපි දැන් ඒ කන්ඩිෂන්ස් වල බැට් කරන විදිය දැක්කොත් එහෙ අපිට සබ්කොන්ටිනල් පිචස් වගේ ගිය ගවන්ම හයව හතරේව ගහගෙන යන්න බෑ you have to build momentum and you have to build your innings කියලා කියන්න ඕනේ gaps ගහලා again boundaries අලන් අපි දැක්ක පැතුම් ෆීල්ඩ් එකට තමයි ෆීල්ඩ් එක ඇසස් කරලා තමයි බැට් කරේ ඒ වගේම තමයි අපි බැලුවා බානුක වනිදු අවුට් වුණ විදිය they were just trying to clear the ground කියලා කියන්න එතකොට ඔයා හිතන්නේ ඒ පිචස් වල ඒ කියන්නේ සබ්කොන්ටිනල් පිචස් වල වගේ කෙලින්ම යන්න බෑ නේද රන්ස් වලට
නෑ no chance මම කලින් කිව්වාගේ දැන් මේ ගහන්නේ ක්‍රිකට් සීසන් එකේ ස්ටාර්ට් එක පිචර්ස් ගොඩක් නියු ඉතින් ගොඩක් අපි අර යූස් වෙලත් නෑ ඔයා කිව්වාගේ සබ් කොන්ටිනෙන්ට් වගේ නෙමෙයි මේ දැන් තියෙන කන්ඩිෂන්ස් අනුව ගොඩක් සීතලයි රටවල වල ඉතින් පොඩ්ඩක් මූව්මන්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා බවුන්ස් එක තියෙනවා ඉතින් ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් ඇසස් කරන්න ඕනේ අනිත් එක තමයි මේ ජිලොන් කියන ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එක ගත්තොත් ඒකේ ඩයිමෙන්ෂන්ස් එක ඉස්සරහා ගොඩාක් දුරයි 80+ මීටර්ස් සයිඩ් වල තමයි පොඩ්ඩක් බවුන්ඩරිස් මේ කියන්නේ ළඟට තියෙන. අපි හොඳම බැටිං නොක් එක මම දැක්කේ නැමීබියා අපිත් එක්ක ගහපු ඉනිං එක. ඒගොල්ලෝ කොහොමද ඉනිං එක ස්ට්‍රක්චර් කරේ? up to 15 overs ඒගොල්ලෝ 100 runs විතරයි ස්කෝර් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ones and twos අරගෙන occasionally අපි ගොඩක් short bowl කරපු හින්දා එදා අපිට පොඩ්ඩක් බවුන්ඩරිස් වැදුනා. හැබැයි අර 15th to 20th ඕ එකේ තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ really accelerate කරන්න පටන් ගත්තේ. ලොකු shots එක බැලුවේ. ඉතින් අපේ කට්ටිය තර මම normally කියන මේ process එක තමයි first 6 overs wickets then නැතුව 6 to 7 runs per over at least maximum 8 score කරගෙන ඊට පස්සේ 7th to 13th වෙනකන් පොඩ්ඩක් consolidation phase එකක් යන්න ඕනේ. So even if you at 100 runs at the 13th 14th over it's not a problem in this wicket. And especially when you're playing associate nations. And when you give an associate nation a target of 150 160 with the bowling we have, we should be able to easily defend.
Harry, not to interrupt the interesting discussion going on already, but we just heard that Akib is just joining us live from the ground. So welcome, Akib.
Hi guys.
Akib and Akib Jr.
Hi, Akib.
More of my wife, Julia. she looks like more of my wife.
Akib looks fully prepared for the day today.
Every time when Sri Lanka plays,
Akib, the positive is I don't see any clouds in the sky, Machang. So looks to be a very bright and sunny day. Hopefully we'll get a full day's game, no?
දවස් 3-4කට ඉස්සෙල්ලා බලද්දී Geelong was predicted to be heavy rain etc. But ඊයේ weather එක change වුණා full bright and sunny පොඩ්ඩක් windy wind එකකින්ද පොඩ්ඩක් විතර සීතලක් තේරෙනවා ඒ උනාට not a bad weather to play at all like ලංකාවේ අවුවේ ගන්නවා වගේ නෙමෙයි මාර ලේසි මං හිතන්නේ මේක ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ මේ weather එක
I mean, could the weather be an indication at all of today of Sri Lanka's performance today? You know, the sunshine, the sky gods finally shining on Sri Lanka's performance today, shining down on Sri Lanka's performance. But how's it looking at the ground, Akib, and what does the atmosphere look like?
I'm surprised that there's a lot of people coming in. ගොඩක් ලංකාවේ කොඩි අරගෙන ජර්සි අඳගෙන මාර විදියට කට්ටිය ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එකට එනවා. Even though it's a working day on at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
මාර surprising මට. At least second innings එකට තව ගොඩක් කට්ටිය එයි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට. පහට විතර after work. But even right now මං කැමරා එකෙන් පෙන්නන්නම් ගොඩක් කට්ටිය මැච් එකට එන ගමන් ඉන්නවා.
Right, so Akib is joining us live from the Geelong Stadium, and this is some of the footage live from the ground. We've been told that there have been a lot of Sri Lankan fans, in spite of it being a working day today, and evidently, yes, we can see a lot of Sri Lankan fans just queuing in to support Sri Lanka today. Akib, have you had a conversation with anyone there? What is the general attitude there?
I just got into the ground, so I couldn't even have a chat, have to have a chat with anyone yet. Uh, but everyone is positive. මට පේන විදියට ඔක්කොම happy. Everyone is coming with colors and flags. They
Yeah.
want us to win. So it's a big game for Sri Lanka. Definitely, we will end up winning. That's the plan. That's what we need.
That has to be the plan because we can't afford to lose. We cannot kiss the trophy goodbye just yet. Uh, right, welcome back, Arun. I think we had a technical error there.
Yes.
Right, so let me quickly remind or rather thank Dida that covers this show. And also let me remind our viewers that should you have any questions today, we have the absolute cricketing expert, Harun, joining us on the show. Um, and should you have any questions, please shoot them in and we'll definitely be able to answer them for you. Anyway, any words about Shamika? Harun, any
Yeah,
words?
it's not been at his best, I suppose, especially with the bat, even with the ball not being very consistent. Someone whom I expected will do something during this tournament because considering the way he bowls, he has this knack of getting wickets. He bowls a very tight line in length. But thus far in this tournament, from what I've seen, he's been a bit all over the place. He's been either short or too full. So he's still to get to that rhythm, I suppose. So fingers crossed. The guy is a very gutty cricketer. Never give up attitude, as we always see him on the field. Tries and gives his best in either way, either with the bat, ball, or in the field. So expecting something from him, I don't think he's delivered to his potential thus far in this tournament.
Right. Sorry, quick question to Akib. Actually, I hope you can hear me, Akib.
Yep,
After
yep.
Tuesday's win against UAE, what was the ground like? What was the atmosphere like over there?
I only could hear people shouting saying අපි බ්‍රාස්පතින්දත් එනවා අනිවාර්යෙන් ගහන්න ඕනේ. ඕක තමයි ගොඩක් ඇහුනේ. කට්ටිය කෑ ගන්නවා. අපි ගහනවා අනිවාර්යෙන් නෙදර්ලන්ඩ්ටත් ගහනවා ඇතුළට යනවා ඒක තමයි. So the thing is this is the last match before final in Melbourne for Sri Lanka at least. There is no other Sri Lankan matches in Melbourne. So I think because of that fans are lining up on the ground to watch the last game.
Okay. Akil, are you there or are you not?
Yes, I'm there. එතකොට ආකිබ් නම් මැච් එකට කොහමද ලගිචාම් වුණා නැමිබියා මැච් එකේ පොඩ්ඩක් අප්සෙට් වුණා ඊට පස්සේ කොහමද ආකිබ් ගේ මැච්
ඒක නෙමෙයි ඉතින් අපේ කට්ටිය වැරදුනාම අපි පලි නෑ ඒකට
ඒකත් ඇත්තනේ
මොකද අතේ තියෙන පර්ස් එකේ තියෙන ඩොලර් 100 200 විතරක් කරගෙන ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එකට එන්නේ අපි මේ මැච් එකක් බලන්න අර ඉත්තාව සීන් එකට පෙරදුනත් අනිත් මැච් එකට ආවා that's the thing like fans ලා හැමෝම එහෙමයි මම විතරක් නෙමෙයි මෙතන මැචස් බලන්න ආවොත් එකම සෙට් එක අයිත් සැරක් මැච් එකට එනවා ඉතින් ඒක ලේසි නෑ දැන් මෙහි ටිකට් එකක් ගන්න ගියත් එක්කෙනෙක්ට ඩොලර් 20ක් 30ක් විතර එනවා මේ ක්වොලිෆයි මැචස් වල එතකොට දැන් මං ෆැමිලි එක ගත්තොත් ළමයි දෙන්නත් එක්ක ඩොලර් 60 70ක් then for the fuel another couple of hundreds especially the students මේකට join එනවා students part time වැඩ කරගෙන ටිකට්ස් අරගෙන එනවා so that's massive effort from most of our fans whoever follows Sri Lankan team so අපි leaves දාගෙන අපි නිවාඩු දාලා ලෙඩ නිවාඩු දාලා මැච් බලන්න ඉන්නේ ඔෆිස් එකේ
ළමයි අරගෙන වත් බැනගෙන ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එකට යන්නේ.
TV එකේ එහෙම එන්න එපා ඊට පස්සේ you will get a warning letter from the office.
Honestly, I was looking out for Akib in the crowd. Honestly.
No, last match if you rewind and watch I was there more than me. My son was there in couple of occasions in the TV. It was I was getting like 1,000 calls from different people. Hey, mangwagi putawa dekka.
හාරු නොහිතන්න අපි මොන ගෲප් එකකට යන්න ඕනේ කියලාද? ඉන්දියා පාකිස්තාන් බංග්ලාදේශ නේ ගෲප් එකද?
Actually Akil මට ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා මේ Akib එදා after Namibia defeat ground එකේ කට්ටිය කියපු ප්‍රශ්නයක් හරුන්ගෙන් අහන්න where Akib was saying people were saying that we lost to Namibia on purpose because we wanted to get into a particular group. Harun,
ඒ සිත
I
නිවන කතා
That's a
ඒ සිත
Sitanipana
නිවන
Katha.
කතා
That
not
was a
Akhil.
that was a convincing loss. It's an absolute myth if anyone is to believe that we lost to get into that group. No, not at all. But it might end up being a blessing in disguise if we win this and end up second. Having played India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh recently at the Asia Cup, and in conditions where all of these four teams are not very used to, you would rather have your best bet playing in Group B rather than playing Australia, England. England by far are at a different level at this point in time. They are playing probably the best cricket in the T20 format. They're tipped to win this tournament. So yeah, I'd say they'd rather play in Group B and try to make it to that semis.
we still
Hamza,
can end up being the group champion actually. Nikang
Yes.
hari
Yeah.
Namibia paradunot ada and we will hopefully like that's what we wish for. අපි දින්නොත් අනිවාර්යෙන් we are going to be like
We'll
group
be
champion.
champs.
So මන්නම් කියන්නේ අපි මොන group එකකද යන්නේ කියන එක ගැන හිත ඉන්න නැතුව අනිවාර්යෙන් next match එකට prepare වෙලා ගහලා එන විදියට මුණ දීලා ගියොත් හොඳයි කියලා. So
that
India
plus
Pakistan group එකටත් ගියොත් there is going to be West Indies, Bangladesh, all the other teams as well. It's basically a group of death.
that plus I think we should not be overconfident. Rather, we shouldn't let our confidence be based on our performance in the Asia Cup, which I think is also something that happened on the first day with Namibia. I think we were a little too confident. That is personally my view, and I feel that that is the general consensus. And I think that the Sri Lanka team should just focus on today's game, focus on each game, and give their very best. ඒත් එක්කම හම්සා අපේ ප්‍රශ්න කහන හරුන් ඔගේ ප්‍රශ්න කහන will mend is fire today කියලා. I don't know if you mean be fired or should he keep firing today?
No, I'm sure the person he's asking whether he'll kind of score runs today. He's looking good. He's looked good over the last couple of games. Kusal Mendes, especially in the last game, he seemed to be timing the ball well. But there again, I suppose hastiness and the fact that constructing that innings a bit to learn from Pathum Nisank. After you get a couple of boundaries, working the singles, getting the twos, that's what helps you to really build an inning. So hopefully he would have taken some learnings from the last game and show us what he's worth in today's game and take us through to the next round.
Right. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's pre-match discussion with, of course, our cricketing expert, Harun. Now, Sri Lanka is 2 points on the table, and today's win is absolutely integral to Sri Lanka's progress in the World Cup series. Together with Akhil, Akib, and Harun, we want to wish our Lions all the very best, and let's hope that Sri Lanka comes out victorious today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Bye, see you.
All the best, guys.
All the best.